it up, Nami. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Today, we'll be doing a deck profile for the deck that I am playing currently in OP11, which is Blue-Yellow Nami. This leader is so much fun. Holy crap. As you know, I'm a blue player. Gotta play anything that's blue, and this deck just gives me the creative freedom to play a lot of different builds. There's the Supernova build that Eggman is currently running. There's the generic good blue and yellow stuff that a lot of people are running. And this build right now is currently leaning towards good stuff for blue and yellow, but I'm always open to changing it. I've changed the build a couple different times. This is the list I took to my locals the other day. I went 2-2, which, yeah, I know doesn't sound amazing, but the fact is my only losses were to hyper aggro, which this deck unfortunately does not do well into, like cards that all are rush based, which is fair. And then the other time I lost was due to a trigger in life. My opponent triggered a blocker, which allowed him to survive my last attack, which would have gone in for game. But I mean, that is luck based, and I don't want to say that takes away from the deck's overall ability. I really like it, and I think overall the deck is really, really fun. I am going to be updating the build going forward, but I wanted to show you at least what I'm working with, give you an idea, and yeah, let's go from there. Nami, basically, it's a 4-life leader. During your turn, if you have 7 or less cards in your hand, if a life card were to be taken out of either player's life, so your life or your opponent's on your turn, if you have 7 cards or less in hand, you draw 1. So this allows you to keep your hand fairly stocked, which is good because you definitely need the combo power as well as a lot of abilities that require you to discard 1 from hand. So it keeps you under that 7 cards or less hand requirement. Seems to be a thing, Fusion World Blue has a 7 cards or less requirement as well for a lot of its best cards. But anyway, its other ability is, as long as it has 1 Dawn attached to it, during my opponent's turn, once per turn, I may trash 1 card from my hand to essentially give my leader a 2,000 power buff for the turn. So for 1 card, I become a 7k body. That's amazing. That's fantastic. I love that quite a bit. We're going to go over the deck here. We're going to go from low cost cards all the way to high cost, and then the events for last. I run 1 drop card, which is a Trafalgar Law Blocker. I love the artwork for this card. That's why I typically run it. It's just a good card to, if you have 1 Dawn open and you need to play something to mess with your opponent, this card's great. I only run it as a 1-up because if I see it, great. If I don't see it, it's okay. But worst case, I can discard it to use my Nami ability, or I can play it for 1 to hopefully eat up an attack. It does not do well into red or black, though, unfortunately, so just keep that in mind. For the 2 cost cards, I'm running 3 copies of Kazuki Hiyori. This card is one of the best cards in the deck, in my opinion. Excuse me. It's one of your 2k counters, but you essentially can play it for 2. You may place the top or bottom card of your life into your hand, then choose 1 card from your hand and place it on the top of your life cards. This would have been amazing if I could take a bottom card and then stick a card on the bottom, but I understand why they don't want you to do that. But essentially, this allows you to set up a possible trigger. This is a great card to play early on, so you play this, and then you set a trigger into your life, so then your opponent's first swing triggers something, which hopefully swings the tempo back into your favor. I typically use this card in conjunction with a couple other cards, which we'll go over in a little bit. But yep, I run 3 copies of the Kazuki Hiyori. And my next 2k, or my next 2 cost card, I do run 3 copies of the Zeus, the 2k counter. Basically, on play, you may add 1 card from your top or bottom of your life to your hand. KO 1 of your opponent's cards at the cost of 5 or less. This is great for getting rid of low-to-the-ground cards, getting rid of a low-to-the-ground blocker, but this also is a 2k counter, so it helps you stay out of your well, it helps you get rid of a body, so then, and it's a 2k counter, so that's where I was going. Sorry, blank there for a brief second. It's a 2k counter, so it helps you get out of attacks. Plus, because it does take a life, it does trigger your Nami ability. Same thing with the Hiyori, by the way. It allows you to trigger your leader ability, so you can draw one, which is super neat. Next, for the 2k, continuing with the 2ks, we have, well, 2 costs. We have the, we're playing 4 of the Nojiko, a card from OP03. Basically, if your leader is Nami, you get to bounce a 5-cost character back to its opponent's, the player's hand. It does require, it does say specifically your opponent can't do this on your own, but this is also another great card that you can play early on, and then you can take advantage of some other cards, which I will get to in a sec. And it's only usable in 2 decks because there's only 2 Nami leaders, which is hilarious. Then we're running 3 copies of Marshall D. Teach. This is a great card for the blue Doflamingo deck, but this is also a really solid card for Nami as well, because either early game or late game, you play this card, you place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck, and then you get to give your leader 2 Rested Dawn. So you can always make sure your leader has Dawn on her. You can tap out completely and then still use his ability to put a Dawn on Nami, so that way she can use her 2k buff ability. What's great about this is whatever card you place on top of your deck, you're just going to draw back with Nami's ability anyway, so it's pretty neat. But yeah, those are the 2-cost cards. All right, going into 3-cost cards, we only got 1, which is Capone Gang Beige, one of the most annoying cards in the entire game, in my opinion. It's a 2k counter, but his real ability lies in his trigger, where if this is in your life and your opponent hits it, you could just choose any one of your opponent's battle cards or leaders and cannot attack for the remainder of their turn. So it allows you to essentially eat up 1 hit. This is amazing if you can get play Hiyori on your turn onto Dawn, and then replace the top card of your life with this Capone Beige. So essentially stops early game aggression. It's really cool. It's really annoying. Next are 4-cost cards here. I'm running 3 copies of Charlotte Pudding. This card is one of the best cards in blue, just because you're able to mess with your opponent's life so much. You're going in for life quite often. You're making your opponent trash life. Or take life to their hand. So your opponent's usually going to have a pretty big hand anyway. You play this, and your opponent has to shuffle their hand back in and draw only 5. It's sweet when your opponent has like 8 or more cards in hand, and then you just say like, nah, you're going to go back down to 5, and you completely mess up their hand. You don't know what cards they're planning on playing. It's just an amazing card. Everyone knows it. And then, of course, we have 4 copies of Kiku Nojo. This card is very, very good. Unfortunately, it didn't come up at all during my locals the other day. I just never had the chance to play it, but this card is just too good not to put in the deck. It's a 4-cost 6k body. On KO, if your opponent has 3 or less life cards, add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to the top of your life. So essentially, if your opponent KOs it, you get to heal 1. And if your opponent has 3 or less cards 3 or less life cards, play this card off trigger. So you can play this onto your life with your Hiyori, and then you can essentially get a free body. It's really, really good, especially if you're playing against blue-purple Luffy. This card's always online. Just an amazing card. And even if it doesn't have combo power, you can always combo it away to use your Nami ability. Next up are 5-drop cards. I'm running 2 copies of the brand new SR Nami from OP11. I wish I had more copies of this card because I probably run it at 3 of, but it's still a really solid card. It's a blocker that allows you to, on play, if your leader is multicolored, draw 3 cards and then place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom or top of your deck in any order. This allows you to essentially draw 3 new cards and get rid of 2 cards that really just aren't doing it for you, getting rid of your bricks in hand if you have too many, which is really, really good. And the other 5-drop card I'm running is Charlotte Katakuri. This card is from the starter deck 20. It essentially is the same stat line, 5 cost 6k blocker with 1k combo power, but its ability is once per turn. You may turn one card from the top of your life face up to give one rested Dawn to your leader or rested character. This allows you to essentially, if you're playing on, going first, you're on odd curve, you can still play this on your 5 Dawn turn and make sure to give Nami a Dawn so that way she can use her ability. And the only time this really kind of sucks is if you flip up the top card of your life and it's a trigger. This happened once where the trigger was a Gang Beige, and my opponent knew what was coming, so he could play around it. But I still think this is a really, really good card. And it fills the same role as Nami, which is a blocker you can play. It's got the same stat line, but it allows you to kind of still be more versatile on your odd curve going forward. Here we go, the 6-cost cards. We're running 4 copies of Charlotte Linlin, another card from the Starter Deck 20. This is a 6-cost 7K body. On play, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Your opponent then has to choose one of 2 things. Either they trash the top card of their life, or they discard 2 cards from their hand. Very, very oppressive on curve. I had played this against my opponent who had only 1 card in life and then 2 cards in hand. So either way, it was a bad time for them. It's a really solid card. I do admit sometimes it's not always the best play, because if you're low on cards in hand, discarding 1 card from hand to use the ability is not great. But if they choose a card from their life, then you can use your Nami ability to draw 1 to help replace it, which is super cool. But a lot of time it can also just be used as a discard card for Nami's ability. Next, we have 4 copies of Jozu, an MVP in the color blue. He is essentially a way for you to bounce back one of your lower cost cards you played earlier in the game, and then you can bounce a 6-cost card on your opponent's board back to their hand. So essentially, you can play the Hiyori, the Nojiko, the Zeus, whatever low-cost card, and then you can just get it back with Jozu. It's really neat. Say you play Nojiko, bounce a 5-cost. Then the same turn, say you have 8 or more Dawn, you play Jozu, which bounces the Nojiko back to your hand, and you get to bounce a 6-cost. So you essentially clear the board of 2 bodies. It's really cool. I really like this card. It's so good. But yeah, those are the 6-cost cards. I'm running 2 7-cost cards, which are Kyros. This guy is really cool stat line wise, 7-cost 9K body. And on play, return to 1 card with a cost of 5 or less back to its owner's hand. This essentially is just more board control. It's more of a tempo swing. Basically, you play this, 9K bodies are very rough to deal with. And it's just, you bounce a body while laying down one of your own. It's super cool. Worst case, it's just, discard fodder for your Nami ability. And finally, the 8-cost cards, the bosses of the deck. We have 2 copies of the new Luffy SCR. And this card is just great. It's Rush. I love the fact that blue is finally getting Rush cards. It's an 8-cost 8K body. When attacking, you may trash 1 card from your hand, return it to 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to its owner's hand, then give it to 1 rested Dawn to your leader. So you play this, swing with it, you bounce a 4-cost, which is usually a blocker, and then give a Dawn to Nami. So you're able to still make sure your leader is protected. It's really, really good for closing out games. And one of the best bodies, or probably our best boss monster in the deck, is 4 copies of the Eustace Captain Kidd, the SR from OP10. This is a 9K body, 8-cost card. On play, you may rest it to trash the top card of your opponent's deck, which will then trigger Nami's ability. And then at the end of your turn, if your opponent has 2 or less life cards, you draw 1 and trash 1. So this is just card recycling. It's very, very good. Once again, if you draw too many, it's just a card you discard for your Nami ability, but it is just, end game wise, this is great. It's so much fun. All right. The events we are running in the deck, we're running 3 copies of Red Rock. It's just blue's best removal, point and click, and it essentially gets rid of anything. It's amazing. And finally, we have Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. It's just so good. This card, I threw it in last second. I didn't really even get a chance to see it in my tournament, but the potential is there. The fact that you also are putting cards back into your life at several points in the game, you really want to rely on triggers, and all of these cards have just great triggers. This came up multiple times where like even 2 in life at one game. Basically able to bounce a 4-cost back to my opponent's hand. This one, a 4-cost back to the bottom of the owner's deck, and this one bounces a 5-cost to the bottom of the deck if it's triggered. If not, you're bouncing whatever, and then you're bouncing 2 6-costs or less. And there's so many good 6-cost or less cards in the game right now. This is just a fantastic card. But yeah, that is the list here. I just realized my camera got real blurry there for a second. I don't know what is going on here. But yeah, that is the Nami list. Like I said, I really like this leader. It's a lot of fun. You should give it a shot. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's my list. I'm constantly tweaking this thing, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. And what leader are you most excited to play in OP11? And I'll catch you on the next video. Take care, guys.
Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the grand line. There's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing. I'll be king of the pirates. I'm gonna be king. His name is Luffy. That's Monkey D. Luffy. King of the pirates.